Today on Lifestyle, we're going to meet a pair of trios. First, Ginger Dinning of the Dinning Sisters, a visit with her, and then we're going to take a trip to the Candlelight Theater to meet those dream girls backstage in their dressing room. All coming up next on Lifestyle.
By the light of the silvery moon, I want to spoon to my honey, our crew, love tune, honeymoon, keep it shining in June. Your silvery beams will bring love dreams, we'll be cuddling soon by the silvery moon. By the light of the silvery moon, I want to spoon to my honey, I'll croon, love tune, honeymoon, keep us shining in June. Your silvery beams will bring love dreams, and we will be cuddling soon by the silvery moon. Give me a lovely June night and the one I adore, a little bit of moonlight, what more can I ask for? Do-do-do, 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 do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. By the light of the silvery moon, I want to spoon.
I want to spoon. I want to get into the act too. Wasn't that great? That was a wonderful vocal trio that you may have enjoyed if you were around in the 40s, and if not, you can enjoy them today. The Dinning Sisters. You've heard of the Andrews Sisters, you've heard of the King Sisters, the Boswells, and the Dinning Sisters. And we're just thrilled because as our guest today, we have one of the Dinning Sisters. Ginger Dinning is with us, and I'm delighted to have you here. That was you on the solo there.
Yes, I was that little solo singer.
That was great.
I was 16 years old.
16.
And my identical twin sister was the other one, and then Lou. And Lou was, she'd be 19 then.
My goodness.
Back in Chicago.
A time ago, but what a wonderful time. Also joining us is Jane Bundenson, and I'm delighted you're here, Jane. You're very special because when one of the group, Lou left the group.
Yes, Lou stayed on the West Coast. She had a career there in music and writing songs, and she had remarried, and so we auditioned Janie, and Janie came.
That's when you joined the group, Jane.
Well, and you know how we auditioned? How I auditioned?
I do remember.
I went out to their house, and the manager and our agent and everyone went out there, and the girls were in the bathroom putting their hair on curlers, and she was with curlers, and Jean was in the shower, and I went in and they had me sing "I Love My Love."
I did,
that record. and
she sounded great.
Right, the acoustics were right in the bathroom.
I love that.
So that was it, and then we took off for Hawaii right away.
Wonderful. Sounds like an exciting life and an exciting time. Vocal trios, well, they're big now. I mean, there's the Stardust and the Pumps here in the Chicago area. But the 40s and 50s, I guess radio did it, huh?
Radio did it, yes. We of course were singing from the time we were just little. My twin sister Jeannie and I started together as a duet singing gospel music from the church. And then one day Lou joined us from behind a door. Lou was very shy. And
I'm going to just hold this picture up here because how old are you here? About
we're 11 there. We have our own radio show, and we're called the McCormick Daring Sisters, and this was in Enid, Oklahoma, and we got off school every day, Monday through Friday at 12 o'clock to do our show. And
isn't that extraordinary, though? Musical family?
But you know, it was a depression time, and we didn't make much money. We made $7 a week, and our sister Lou, because we were identical twins, she used to share it this way. She'd give Jean and me together $3.50, and then she'd take the other $3.50. And one day Jean and I said, "Mama, how come Lou's money always goes farther than ours?" So
the old
Mom
sister
said
act.
Mom said, "Oh, honey, that's not right." So our sister Lou says, well, she was no crook. She just didn't realize.
Enid, Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you were
Enid.
born. Height of the
Not
Depression.
born there. We were born
But you
in
lived there.
Caldwell, Kansas.
Okay. And it was from there, I think, that your dad took you to Hollywood?
Yes, it was. And we went out to Hollywood to get in the movies.
He took you there for that purpose.
And we were driving along, and
Because you were so musical.
we were musical, and we thought we had seen a trio called the Bryan Sisters. And they were young, and it just made us think that we could go out there and do it too. And we did go out, but we didn't get in the movies. We got, in a sense, you could say we got taken, because there were a lot of phony amateur contests, and they would tell you that if you would do the contest, then you would get to have a Hollywood screen test, but it never happened. And the only thing good that ever happened is that we did win some prizes, sets of dishes and a little
I'm going to
money.
show a picture here, and this I would guess might be, what year about?
Oh, that's about 1942, 43,
42,
something like
okay.
that.
Now, the year that you came to Chicago, you left Hollywood and you came to Chicago, and
Well, we went back to Wichita, Kansas then, and we did radio there. And then...
but you got an audition at NBC.
Yes, when school was out, and Gene and I were 15, and our brother had a band, and he came home and he heard us singing, and he said, he told the folks he'd like to take us with him to Peoria to sing in a country club. And it was a good, it was a clean atmosphere. So the folks said, okay, but make sure they're back home in time for school. So we went to Peoria, and we did sing with his band. And then before we had to go back home to go to school, our brother Wade said, let's take the girls into Chicago and have them audition. And we went into Chicago, and on a Saturday was the big audition day, and we went to CBS, and they said they had just closed. The auditions were over there, but to go to the Merchandise Mart.
See, they really got their beginnings here
Yes,
in
on
Chicago.
the 19th floor. And there were the auditions were held for NBC, but they said you have to have music, sheet music, and we didn't have the sheet music to this song that we particularly liked. It was called Way Back Home by the Boswells. So our brother got out his fountain pen, and all while we're driving to the Merchandise Mart,
He wrote the music.
he wrote the music for it, and we were still blowing it dry when we took the elevator up there, and we sang Way Back Home.
That was a great beginning
It was
for
a
you.
terrific beginning, and George Voutsas came out, and he said that he liked our singing.
I have to ask, your sisters are both well?
Yeah.
Jean and Lou. They
They're
just, you are coming to us today. I think you're from Virginia, is that correct?
No, I'm from New Jersey.
New Jersey,
Yes, I'm
okay.
from Vernon, New Jersey.
And one sister is?
Lou is from Burbank, and Jeannie is from Nashville, or Bonacqua,
That's
a little
great.
town out of Nashville.
I'm glad. We're happy that they're all well. I have a picture here. This is you, Jean. At one point, as we were just discussing this, and I'm sure you'll remember, Lou left the group.
Yes.
Yes.
And when Lou left the group, Jane joined the group. And this is you in the center.
That's right.
Okay.
Jamie, yes.
Had you been singing along as the Denning sisters had? And
Yes, I had
With the group, or?
my sister and I sang, and we sang with the Lou Diamond Orchestra here in Chicago, and we were quite young, and our parents didn't want us to travel, so Lou Diamond, you know, in those days the union would only let the bands play 6 nights a week, so Lou Diamond would play the off nights. So we sang at the Palmer House and the Shapery and the Panther Room and the Continental Room and all those places, so we had a lot of experience. And then 2 fellas came from California, and they wanted us to make a quartet to sing on the Bob Hope show. So we did that, and we did the Bob Hope Pepsodent
so you know
commercials.
Bob Hope, right?
I've touched him.
You get to
A
meet
little bit.
exciting people.
Oh yes, we certainly did.
Who
Didn't
should we know about that you've met?
Oh, let's see.
Oh Lord, we were on
Perry Como,
Perry
I was
Como,
crazy
Nat,
about, and
Nat King Cole.
Nat
Remember
King
those
Cole
shows? We
and
were on
Spike Jones.
Spike Jones and
Tex
we did-
Ritter.
and we did
We
shows.
did an
at-
album with Tex.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
and we did shows theater shows with Jackie Gleason.
Yes, that's
and
right.
Jimmy Durante.
You can see it goes on and on. Jane Bundenson has just joined Ginger here, and they're having a reunion. I'm delighted that you were able to join us.
thank you.
We're going to be
too.
coming right back, and we're going to meet a gal from the Stardust. You've seen her on Lifestyle before. She sings some of these Dinning songs, too. Stay with us. Did you enjoy that? That's going back. That's the Dinning sisters, and they're going to, Ginger is here, one of the sisters, and she's going to explain to us exactly what we were just seeing. But also joining us now is Joette Waters, who you'll probably recognize because she's visited Lifestyle maybe 2 or 3 times now as a member of the Stardust Trio. We always enjoy having any part of the trio with us.
Thank you.
It's nice to have you here, Joette. Ginger, you were watching this. We were enjoying it. You were explaining something very interesting I don't think most of us realized. This wasn't a movie exactly.
No, that was called a soundy patent. It was the forerunner of the videos that you see today. And it was supposed to be, they were putting all of these machines in the different stores and the soda fountains where the jukeboxes were. And they were, you were putting your dime or whatever, and then you'd see a soundy. But when television came in, that just destroyed that whole idea, and I believe they went bankrupt.
It's like videos, early videos.
Absolutely, the forerunner to videos. Yeah.
Did you know it? You who are a nostalgia buff, Joette?
Well, I'm fortunate enough to have some of them, but they were wonderful. They were really wonderful.
They're nice to have, yeah.
It's delightful to have you here because before, when you have entertained us, you've told us where you've gotten your material. You talk about the Boswell Trio, you talk about the Denning sisters, of course, and of course the Andrews sisters. All that you use from, take from, as you perform. Interesting, even to the clothes.
Yes, and each group had such a different feel to the music, and I know the Andrews were perky and had a swing, but the Dinnings had such a marvelous blend, and we always said that they sounded like angels.
Thank you.
Just beautiful, sweet sound.
Well, they were definitely recognized in their time. You were talking before about coming to Chicago for an audition, and
yes,
that, as I'm looking over things here, was like in 1941.
That was in 1939.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah,
they lie on these things. But 1945, and that isn't too much longer,
No.
you won Song Hits Magazine Award of Merit.
Yes.
And the next year you won and I guess we're not familiar with these awards, but they had to be very important at that time.
Yes, they were.
You won the Cashbox Jukebox Awards for Outstanding Female Vocal Group.
Yes, and that year we beat out the Andrews sisters, which is, you know.
I bet there was a lot of competition, huh?
There was a tremendous amount, and that was the only year we ever beat the Andrews, but that was, I don't know how it happened, but we did.
Fantastic. Well, I can guess how it happened. 1947, Billboard's Vocal Group of the Year. And by 1948, you had a million-selling record out of Buttons and Bows. And didn't that win an award as
Yes,
well?
that did, and that won the award for the Song of the Year from a picture that Bob Hope was in, Paleface. And we sold a lot, way over $1 million on that. Janie recorded that with us, and we still sing it today when we get together. It's cute.
It must be wonderful fun to look back and have done such an exciting thing in your life.
Yes, it is. It's fun. My kids, I have a son, Bud, and he's always kept my interest alive. And when we'd get together at family reunions, I would know all the old songs that we recorded, and my other sisters, Jeannie and Lou, wouldn't. And they said, how is it that you know all your songs? And it was really, I have to say, it was because of Buddy.
Vocal trios today haven't reached quite the apex that wasn't, and we talked before, probably because of radio. People were enjoying music in that way. But there is a kind of a revitalization of all that, isn't there?
We think there is, and there are so many young people that are just beginning to hear the sound again. I know when we're in clubs, we have our fans range from 5 years old. When we do outdoor fests, all the children run to the stage, and they just know that that tight harmony is magical.
They love it.
Yeah.
I have a picture here. I'm going to show this. This, of course, is the Dinning sisters. Now, this is the 3 girls. We see you standing here, much as when the Stardust Trio comes to visit us. You're standing in much the same pose. I would be curious now, while I have both of you, a span of time here. There's got to be a trick. The hearing of the music, the blending of the voices. Does it help if you're standing this close? I mean, is this part of it?
Yes.
Seriously?
Yes, it is. It's part of it. It certainly helps to stand close. And we kids still use just one mic, but I think the 3-way mic is fine. I think maybe you can do a little better job. You get right into your microphone and you can center on it. And but vibrato is so important, and you can feel each other breathe. You feel the rhythm come up into a song, and it really helps get feeling and emotion.
Now here it was sisters, and then Jane joined you for a while as well, and that was a close. No relation in the Stardust Trios. No, you don't have this, so
it's more difficult to get a blend if you're not sisters. And we've had several changes in the group, and certain sounds work better than others. Certain voices work better than others, only because of the natural quality to the voice.
And the vibrato, don't you think, Joette?
Yes, definitely.
Vibrato is like the wave.
Do you seek out their music exactly, or their records?
Definitely, and thanks to Frank Langer, we've found the Dinning sisters, and we go through so much material. There's so much we'd like to do, but there's just fabulous, so much material.
Do you write it out, the parts that you're going to take? Is that how you did it, Ginger? Were your parts actually, your brother wrote the parts out or something?
Well, we didn't read notes, Pat,
or did you just? That's what I wondered.
We didn't read notes, but we did have a sign language, and our arranger, who was classically trained, Jack Fascinato, he said, do you girls want to read notes and, you know, proper music signature, all the rests and so forth, syncopation, or do you want to do your own? So we got our own. We decided it was easier. It wasn't. But we just thought it would be easier to, so they used to publish our versions because they looked like a song with a bunch of little hen scratches on it.
And that's what you look for now.
And that's what we did.
Listen, I have to, our time is almost up before our break, but I would like people to be able to get out and see the Stardust Trio. Where are you performing now?
Well, we work at the Como Inn on Friday nights. And in the reader, usually we have listings of various places that we're performing. We've been at Aunt Sather's, which is a Swedish restaurant on Belmont.
Great group, and of course if you didn't accidentally catch them before on Lifestyle, they dressed to the period of time and everything. You'd enjoy it. It's kind of turning back time just a little bit. We're going to take a break. We're going to be coming right back. Thank you very much, Joette.
Do you know what I didn't get to say?
But from her balcony he would hear her say. No can do, no can do. My mama and my papa say I no can do, no can do, no can do. I like for me to go with you, but no can do. You like me, I like you. I like for you to draw me out your Julie. No can do, no can do. My mama and my papa say I no can do. So won't you say to me, come on, come out tonight. I like for you to hold my hand.
Don't you love it? What a nice thing for us to be able to enjoy. How great that we have those old films or tapes, and we can thank Frank for that. He's here right now. Let me first reintroduce, however, Ginger Denning. Delighted that you're with us, Ginger. We're talking about the Denning sisters, and seated next to her is Frank Langer, and we're delighted to have you here, Frank.
Thank you. Happy
Frank,
to be here.
you're the #1 fan. Number 2?
Well, I'm sure Buddy, Ginger's son, is the number
Is
one.
number one, but
Number one
you
fan.
first saw the trio when they were what? You were like 13, 14 years
Well,
old.
I
something
first
like that?
heard the trio when I was 13 on the radio. And we got all the Chicago stations in Milwaukee, which is where I'm from. And I was just captivated by the sound of those voices. I had never heard anyone sing like that, and so
You know,
I-
there are a lot of fans, but they don't do anything about it. You have done really something about your admiration, haven't you?
yes, I have, and not for many, many years after I first heard them. I collected everything they did during the years that they were big stars, and while I was in the Navy, I'd listen to them on the radio and hear their latest records. But it wasn't until the mid-50s that I read an article about Ginger's twin. It made some records on her own, and it said she lived in Downers Grove. So
For
I
heaven's sakes.
took my collection and drove up and down the streets of Downers Grove until I saw her name on a mailbox, and went up and knocked on her door, and from then on, the whole thing just sort of started to snowball, and they turned out to be such delightful people. I've been a guest in all their homes. They had a ceremony and made me an official honorary Denning brother.
Yeah.
And along about this time came along the nostalgia craze, and just about everyone was being reissued except the Denning sisters.
So you took care of that, didn't you?
It took me
He did.
23 years of tenacious letter writing before I finally managed to connect with EMI Pathé Marconi in France. May I show this?
Sure.
And in 1983, I don't know where to point it,
Well, just hold it right there. It's
this
fine.
first album came out, and much to our
The Denning
our
sisters.
delight.
Oh, we were
right.
thrilled. It was such fun to see our
all their top
our
numbers.
names back in the, and these were in the bins, Pat, with along with Peggy Lee and Sinatra, and it was just great in the big music stores in New York
yes.
City. You could
But
find them.
Here is the thing that justified it all. A year or two later, they wrote to me and said the album has sold so well, we want to do another album. And in 1985, Volume 2 came out.
Okay, hold it nice and steady and hold it there for a minute. Wow.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, it really
Real
is.
thrill.
So, and then it didn't stop there.
I know he
A little independent
gone
firm
wild.
that I had written to in Germany, when they got wind of how well the albums were selling, they wrote to me and asked if they could do an album too, if they did
Now,
any
see,
country songs.
If you see these covers anywhere, if you're getting very intrigued, maybe you're just meeting the Denning sisters. That's entirely possible.
Possible.
They've
Or
got a, I
maybe
got,
you're old fans too, and so now you know you can hear them again and
I have
enjoy them
gotten
again.
letters from young people. I've gotten about 56 letters from people since these records have been coming out, wanting to know where can we get them, and are there going to be more? And fortunately, there are going to be more. This one also sold so well that this one was just released. So now we have 4.
Now we have 4, and because
This is
of the,
all your old music, all your old, the
all our
original
old songs.
recordings.
And some that were
Yes.
never issued. Some were just on transcriptions.
Right. These first ones on Capitol were their commercial recordings. And these
That's right, yes.
these two are all old radio transcriptions that were recorded right here in Chicago on at Universal Studios in 1942.
My goodness.
And through a stroke of luck, I located a place and I managed to get a hold of those transcriptions. And they're all public domain in Europe. So that's how the album was produced and was able to be produced.
This is most extraordinary to find someone so enamored with a group or a person or an individual.
As Joette Waters would say, it is not normal.
But nice, because now listen, as I understand it, Frank, through your interest, and because of your interest and behalf, the Denning sisters, or at least Ginger, has appeared on Marie Shriver's Sunday Today show. Was
Yes.
that just you, Ginger? Or?
No, this was actually just an excerpt from our family reunion when we all got together last year in Sunrise Beach, Missouri at our brother Ace's house, Ace and Betty's. And because of all of Frank's interest in getting these records out, we were called by the Nashville Now show. We went into Nashville and we sang on that.
Oh, that's nice.
And then we did the Grand Ole Opry.
Oh,
And,
After not
this
being
is
on the
great
Opry
fun.
for 35 years,
Yeah.
they,
But all
they were
of
on
this
again.
because of these
listen,
albums.
is there a chance the Denning sisters will come back?
No, I don't think so. Just back at family reunions.
The music is back,
is
but the
where-
girls are not going to go back into,
No, I don't
show
think
business.
so.
No.
We're not gung ho on that.
Really?
No, we really enjoy getting together and singing some good old harmony. But that's it.
Are there any groups that you must watch singers now, individual
quite a bit.
or groups? Who's hot in your mind these
Well,
days?
I love. I really like all music, but I love the Judds. I think they have a terrific family blend. And I like Stardust. I think Stardust says
We like Stardust
cute
too.
sound.
We like
Just
Stardust
darling.
too.
Yes, I do.
We want to give you a better chance too to like the Denning sisters. So if I want you to now get a pencil and paper, because I'm going to give you some information. If you'd like to find out about these albums instead of running down to the store and thumbing through forever and ever to find it, you can write to Frontier Records, P.O. Box 157. That's 7, Jenks, Oklahoma, and that's Jenks. And the zip there is 74037, Frontier Records. And that's how you find out about it?
Right. They,
Our time is out. You know what? I'm sorry. Our time is up. Didn't it go fast?
We
it certainly
enjoyed it.
did.
I enjoyed it too. There's more story here than we can even begin to get to, but we're grateful for the time that we've spent
thank
with
you.
you.
Thank you
very
for having
much.
us on.
Thank you, and I want you to stay with us.